Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is a movie that was made backwards. It started with the question, how do we get our characters into this hypothetical scenario, and went from there. The action scenes in this movie are some of the best ones I have ever seen, and they have Zack Snyder written all over them. Even considering their lengths, I never felt bored as they were happening. Then again, I was watching this in an IMAX 3D theater, and would most likely have been entertained by watching paint dry in slow motion if the sound of dripping was loud enough. So I reserve myself to the idea that the action might not keep me as interested if watched in my own humble home. Unfortunately, this great action movie is accompanied with mediocre and incoherent subplots. One of the biggest subplots is dropped at the last second, with a "I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Dave." And once it happened, me and my friend looked at each other in the cinema in confusion and shaked our hands in the air as if to ask what the fuck just happened. Later on our way home that night, we spent a few minutes trying to figure out why that subplot was even there, which isn't a good sign. This is because the first hour of the movie is absolutely forgettable. Ben Affleck was a good Batman, and even without the help of fancy camera effects was rather legitimately scary at times, just because of his imposing presence. But he was also rather mediocre and disappointing Bruce Wayne. For the role of Bruce Wayne, the script didn't exactly help him, but I'm afraid his acting would not have been saved by Quentin Tarantino himself. Henry Cavill isn't just one aesthetically pleasing looking bodybuilder, but he is yet again a stable Superman. Amy Adams as Lois Lane is nothing more but a damsel in distress that usually ends up failing everything she attempts, and I am okay with this. Jesse Eisenberg is the wildcard, being a younger and way more crazy Lex Luthor this time around, and it just doesn't work. There is nothing wrong with Eisenberg's acting performance in this movie, it's just that people already know Lex Luthor and have expectations of that character. Those expectations are ripped straight away from us and thrown out the fucking window, and we end up with something that is way too jarring. In order to have Lex do what he does, they need him to get progressively crazy as the movie goes on. But I would say his actions should have been reserved for a new character that Lex Luthor could have helped instead. Eisenberg's road to insanity just goes way too quick, and there is never any reasonable explanation to why any of this is happening. Jeremy Irons is a salty Scarfred, Lawrence Fishburne starts out a genuinely funny career in comedy, but the one stealing the show here is Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. There was no moment during Gadot's screen time I was not convinced she is actually Wonder Woman, and her extremely natural performance has me now very excited for a Wonder Woman spin-off, something I wouldn't originally be interested in. They jammed so many references into this movie, it's hard to remember them all. At one point Alfred says, "If you're sure it's a he, it could be a phantasm for all we know," making a nudge to the 1993 animated movie Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, in which, spoilers, the Phantasm is a woman and not a man, and she's Bruce's love interest. If you're a reader of the comic books, you will get a lot of these references straight away, while other parts of the audience sits there and wonders what the hell is going on. This film will have controversy around it, just like Man of Steel, and I honestly don't care. Superman never had a "I don't kill" code. That's Batman's thing. And it's only a thing until some recreation decides that this is the time when he's going to break that one rule, which he has done in several comic and movie iterations already. My point is, I don't care if Superman or Batman actually kills people, because you can make some pretty interesting storylines from those events and explore why they changed their ways so much. Just like how I don't care about what happened in Man of Steel, because Superman was given the choice to either kill the last one of his species or have innocent people die, and then he gets to cherish the value of life so much more. Honestly, it was a good movie, and I would recommend it to fans of the DC IPs and action moviegoers in general. As a setup for a Justice League movie, it did a decent job, and I'm giving it a Christopher Nolan in a Bane mask out of 10.